All right, had a request for a screencast on this one. This was heavily computational. I think it's one of those where it's really hard the first time you see it, but then once you figure out the mechanics of it, it becomes a less hard problem. I hope that's the case anyway. I've sketched out some of the basics of the problem in the next slide. So here I've got, I made ISIS number 1 and Syria number 2, and this is ISIS demand, and I changed that to a inverse demand curve, just put P as the dependent variable. Did the same for Syria over here, and then I got marginal revenue curves. I didn't think anybody would have a problem with that. Once you get to this point, you just double the slope and you've got the marginal revenue curve. So this is the marginal revenue curve for ISIS, the marginal revenue curve for Syria. And that's the point where all of you got to before making an error. The way to do this problem is to realize that both in market 1 and in market 2, the marginal cost is going to be equal to marginal revenue. But marginal revenue is equal to aggregate quantity. So it's Q1 plus Q2. So we can then go to, in both markets, Q1 plus Q2 is equal to 1,000 minus, oh, that's supposed to be 2Q1. I see I made a little typo there. 2Q1 and Q1 plus Q2 is equal to 4,000 minus 4Q2. All right, and now we have two equations and two unknowns, and it's a little bit computationally intensive, but it's not particularly hard, I would argue, once you get marginal costs correct. So I'm just going to solve the Syria market to get Q2 in terms of Q1, and I can add 4Q2 to both sides and subtract Q1 from both sides. I get 5Q2 equals 4,000 minus Q1, and then dividing through by 5 and simplifying gets me Q2 equals 800 minus Q1 over 5. And this is, I can take 800 minus Q1 over 5 into this expression, I can take this and substitute out for Q2 in this expression, and then I'll have one equation and just Q1 to solve. So doing that, you get Q1 plus 800 minus Q1 over 5 equals 1,000 minus 2Q1. And when you subtract Q1 over 5 from Q1, you get 0.8 Q1, and then you add 2 Q1 to both sides and subtract 800 from both sides, you get Q1 equals 200 divided by 2.8. You get 2.8 Q1 equals 200. Divide through by 2.8, and you get Q1 is 71.43, and I can plug this value into the demand curve, and what happens is I get P1 equals $928.57. So those are my answers for market 1. And then we know Q2 is equal to 800 minus Q1 over 5. Well, that's 71.43 over 5. So what drops out of that is where's my Q2? Oh, shoot, I didn't write it down. Oh, no, I did. 800 minus 71.43 divided by 5 gets me Q2. I just use my calculator for this. Is 785.71, 0.714 actually, the way I rounded. And then I can take that 785.71 and plug that into the demand curve for Syria, and out drops the following. Just clicking numbers on a calculator, hopefully correctly. P2 equals $2,428.57. Oops, meant to put a box around that Q1, and there you have it. That's how you do it.